And now we're going to talk Ballon d'Or, which the ceremony was going on while we were just doing the first half of our show. And we finally got all the results in. So for the first time in history of the event, the women's awards were expanded to include the Yashin Trophy for the best goalkeeper. And that was presented by Muller Trophy for best goal scorer and the Copa Trophy for the best U21. But the biggest and hottest news is, y'all, freaking Bonmatí for 3 years in a row. I mean, what do we think? Do we think it's well deserved? Are we kind of shocked? Did we expect that? Let's start with like the biggest award first. What do y'all think?
I mean, I think she's a baller. So again, when I think of Ballon d'Or, right, I'm like, my first love growing up that I always wanted to attend was the ESPYs. And I'm just thinking with all these award shows, I'm like, I need to know who's voting because I am so opinionated on certain things, but I don't know how the Ballon d'Or works. So I can't speak to that. But I think she's a baller. I think she dominates at every level, national team, club. She's the player that is circled every time when someone's doing scout. So I can't say she doesn't deserve it. I don't know who would deserve it more than her, but I don't know. I'm such a fan of her.
I think her production level has been a little bit lower this year, but just the way that she moves is like, you have to keep your eyes on her. She's super quick, super fast. Her decision-making is very rapid as well. She's just one of those players that's like buzzing around the field where you're like, I've never played against her. I don't think I could keep up with her, honestly. And that was like one of the things that I love to challenge myself to do. Oh, you think you're bad? Like, wait till I get to mark you. You know what I mean? But I'm watching Bonmatí and I'm like, I'm not sure, Kali. I'm just not sure. Yeah, she's amazing. And just so all of our listeners out there know, the two finalists were her and Caldentey, who's had an enormously good year as well. So to beat that player out and for it to be one of her teammates, Spain is just kind of dominating in their own right?
Yeah, she's so sick. What I love most about her game is not even just on the ball stuff, but if you watch her movement, how she's like thinking ahead of plays, like there'll be just a few passes in and she'll think by like that 13th pass and she's already in the right space because she's already looking at how the opponent's already shifting defensively. And so I like watching her and see where she's going. Her head's always on a swivel. And I think that's what kind of puts the cherry on top, the way that she plays. I also don't know how the voting works either, Lo. I'm gonna look into that because, I don't know who would beat her, but I think one of my arguments would be, okay, we're looking at the best female player on the planet. Okay, she goes into the finals for the Euros and she didn't show up. And I'm like, okay, there hasn't been enough consistency, in my opinion. This is only Jess McDonald's opinion, and I'm like, okay, what's she doing today? And I think that obviously she's absolutely a brilliant player, not to argue too much about it, but I think in some of these games where they're really important. I mean, she did incredible in the semifinal, but going into the final, I'm like, okay, I'm licking my chops, waiting for her and Putellas to show up and show out. And they didn't. They were just kind of non-existent. Credit to England. They obviously defended very well, but yeah, I also want to know, in conclusion, I also want to know how the voting works. So
yeah, it's just a whole bunch of like French guys out there voting on things that they never watch. I'm like, all right, yeah. we need a checks and balances system on this. Who's doing it? But I agree. Like for me, big players should play big in big games, and if they don't, then maybe they're not as large as we think. We've seen this happen, whether it's an NWSL championship or a Euros championship. The player who's supposed to be like the it girl doesn't show up, and you have to be able to handle those big pressure moments and be that big player that everybody was relying on you to be. And I feel like she was muted quite a bit. And when you think about it, it's like, okay, sometimes they're pulling just like distraction, right? Like there's a lot of attention on them, which is freeing up space for other players. I get that. But I didn't really see her being like double teamed. Like, you know what I mean? I think there wasn't any intention to like really slow her down in that regard. She just didn't show up.
I think it's so hard too when it comes to like nominations or like who gets award. Again, this is a team sport. So it was like, were players just not feeding her the ball then? Like, were we getting the ball to her? Because I think it's so crazy when it comes to awards where a player that has been consistent all year doesn't do well one game and they don't get the recognition. But there's someone that is playing poorly all year, makes one banger of a goal, and now they're the star of the show. Like they're the reason why they're being so successful. And I'm just like, as a player, you're on a team. You're like, no, like I'm not going to pull back any sunshine from her. Like, go ahead, get all the media. But I'm, as a player in the locker room, I'm like, no, it's not.
This is my other harp as well. Like, especially happens with goal scorers. I'm like, they'll give a ball away 25 times and make their own team defend or lose it or whatever. But they'll score that game winner, and it's like everything is erased. Everything is cool. You know what I mean? Like, but there is a lot of pressure on goal scorers too. So it comes the good and the bad. But I know what you're saying, Lo. Like players that can't put together a 90-minute football game makes it harder for midfielders. So I'm like, can you just stop? But yeah, you know, players like that, they had these brilliant moments that are just, wow. And that's how they win the Ballon d'Or, I guess. But what's interesting about this is, okay, so like I said, Mariona Caldentey was who she got the closest amount of votes to. And then the next trophy that was given out was the Copa Trophy. And it's another Spanish player, which is basically the best U21 player, Vicky Lopez. So we see Spain winning all these awards, but they didn't even win the Euros. So I'm just trying to give a shout out to England right now, realizing what a big feat that was for them to win the Euros when they, if you look at it, like they had all these amazing players, but Vicky Lopez was a lot of fun to watch.
I think this is, when I saw that award, I was like, I love this because I think this is a new thing in America where we're starting to have younger players come into our league and just shine. So this has been happening in Europe for years, you know? And so now that it's happening here, I'm like, this is so cool because I do think now we will get some Americans in that. Like, just think of what they're doing with the U.S. national team. Like, they brought in so many debutantes this year, and a lot of them are really young. So I'm hoping next year an American is at least considered for that award because we're starting to do it in our league at least. And obviously, first off, congrats, Vicky. Sorry, not taking away your shine. But it gets me excited because as the game is developing and growing, the younger ones are starting to get better earlier, kicking me out the door. But it's so exciting. And I'm hoping an American is up for it next year.
Yeah, a little more American
I hope
presence.
so too. I think that'd be dope. Yeah.
Like, I love our youth. Like, I was just saying, Claire Hutton on my team, she's showed me a photo where we were just like embracing each other after the game. They're like, she came to me. She was like, this is so cute of us. And I was like, I feel like you're talking to me like I'm really old and fragile, but I do love you too. Like, that's just our relationship though. And I love her so much. Like, I want all the best for her. But yeah, I got a soft place in my heart for these young bucks.
Do you know who Claire reminds me of the way she plays? Sam Mewis. Do you ever get those vibes?
Bro, the day she joined us, Dabinia and I looked at each other and literally said that. Like, Dabinia played with Sam more than I did.
Yeah.
But I swear to you that the very first time she joined, Dabinia had said that to me. That is unreal.
Like, Claire is not
wild.
as fast. Like, when Sam would run with the ball, like, she was so hard to keep up with and obviously not as tall. But I think Claire has some other attributes that will grow to be something even more amazing. Like, and the fact that she's already looking like Sam Mewis and she's not even like in her 20s yet, I'm just like, this is wild. This is amazing.
I love that. Yeah, it's there. And that's why I'm like, wow, you're this good now. Like, where are you going to go? She said something to me the other day. She was like, you know, I'm always trying to take things from different people's games. And I was like, that's already so good of you. Like, you're already steps ahead. You came at it. You were born at the right time, because you came when certain midfielders were popping off. You know, we're being broadcasted now, so she could watch more. And she was just telling me like the things she tries to take from people's games. And I'm like, you're a student of the game. You're so passionate. This is amazing. She has zero ego. She's going to go so far in this sport. And I'm so excited for her.